What's good, everybody? I'm Blitz5, and we're just a little bit over 1 week since the launch of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. We just had an update come in over the weekend on October 21st, dealing with network performance and stability improvements, kind of hitting things across the board with Zombies, Blackout, and multiplayer. We also had a controversy dealing with Call of Duty's Tickrate, which I'm going to get into first here because I found this kind of intriguing and also a little bit confusing at first, because obviously I don't work in this field and I don't know the intricate nature of like servers, network lag, coding, ping, and all that stuff, but I did kind of do some research here to provide some information for you guys for this video. But this was all over the news. Some major news outlets actually picked this up, and online there was a lot of articles dealing with this, and I think it's because of the size of Call of Duty and also Activision that makes this kind of bigger news, because so many people are playing and purchase this game. There's so much money involved. Basically, what's going on here is the tick rate is something that affects every game, but specifically in Call of Duty. Say you're shooting your gun on one of the levels or you're running around the map. Basically, anything you're doing is sending that message to the server that that's happening. So if you shoot your gun, the server is picking up that you're shooting your gun. Then it has to send that out to everyone else that's connected on the server, to their clients, to their in-game clients, that you're shooting your gun so that everybody else can see it. So basically, all that stuff is happening. You're sending packets to the server is sending packets and ping back out to everybody else. And that's how you're seeing everything that's happening in the game. And that's why servers and all this stuff in your connection are so important. Your tick rate is something that how often is the server being checked for that information. So for example, if it's 20 hertz, it's checking 20 times per second what's going on in the game. So if you're shooting somebody, it's getting checked 20 times per second if the bullets are hitting, if they're missing, the damage it's doing, etc. And this is where we get into an issue, because that's where Call of Duty is at, specifically with the multiplayer. It's at 20 hertz, so it's being checked 20 times per second. And before, a lot of these numbers were hitting up to 60, and that's where Blackout currently is right now. So people are mad that Blackout has a higher tick rate than the regular multiplayer, and some people are saying that they're doing that to keep Blackout stabilized and kind of dissing the old school multiplayer players. And also at this point, because Call of Duty is a AAA title, they should handle having the hertz rate in the tick rate up a lot higher. And also the fact that there's no campaign, it's basically just an online game at this point, that we should be expecting a lot more, somewhere in the 60 or even 100 hertz tick rate per second. And to me, at first I was looking at this and I'm like, why do people care? The game has been playing fine online. You know, I haven't really had that many issues. There's always a little bit of network lag and desync that's happening when you're playing an online game. But after reading through a lot of the comments here, a lot of people had a lot of well thought out things. And I really do agree with them. When you're purchasing a game that's a AAA title and now it's only online, we should really be getting the AAA experience. And I think this is included, especially since, you know, we paid full price for this game and a lot of games aren't even at full price anymore. And just the whole theory behind that, I just think that we should come to expect a little bit more and we should be getting a better version of the game. But I think for the casual gamer, this won't really affect you. It doesn't really affect me. Just something that I thought was interesting that created quite a stir online today. And if I misrepresented any of that information, please let me know down in the comments below. Also, getting back to this update here, so I'm just going to kind of skim through this stuff and show you guys what's going on. I'm going to start with multiplayer first. So they fixed an issue with Ruin, that while he was jumping while sprinting, this would perform differently than the other specialists. I had no idea this was going on, but I guess they fixed it. There was also an issue with the scoreboard immediately after dying, that it was displaying the incorrect stats. I noticed sometimes that when I hit the back button, it wouldn't go to my player and be like on the enemy team. So I don't know that if that's related, but they fixed that. Then with Blackout, I think this is one of the biggest fix in this small little update, is that they addressed an issue with looting. And this was a big issue for me, that when you go in, you'd have to hit left and right like multiple times to get to an item, or that wasn't really responsive hitting left and right on the D-pad, at least on the Xbox One. And a lot of times I'd have to go in and out of the loot to get that item. So they said they addressed this issue, and hopefully they fixed it, made it a little bit easier to navigate. And then also, I guess some players would see an invisible collapse circle while they were playing in Blackout, so they allegedly fixed that. We'll see how all this stuff works out in the next week or two. Then moving on to Zombies, I haven't played this, so I'm unfamiliar with this, but I'll read through this for anybody that's a Zombies player. They addressed a crash when crafting the shield with a frugal fetish equipped. That's a tongue twister, say it 10 times fast. Various stability fixes across all maps. I wish they gave us more information, but that's it. Then on Blood of the Dead, they addressed an issue with the shield not displaying the correct updated version for the player. And classified specified they addressed a crash when turning on the power in a custom mutations match. So that's for zombies. And then getting over to just general miscellaneous fixes, they addressed a crash at the end of the match for master prestige players in zombies and multiplayer. And they're also planning further improvements for the UI issues. I heard right now that there's also an issue with the custom created class 8 and 9. If you go to use those, it just defaults to a different class. And then they also have just been working on general stability improvements across all modes, which is kind of like a cop-out thing. What are they actually doing here? But I know every week they're just going to be improving stability and all that stuff. So I stay positive with this stuff. Some people go negative and say, hey, this stuff should have all been fixed already. But I get it. It's an ever-evolving game. This is just kind of the climate and the landscape we're in gaming for right now. Kind of just gradual improvements after the game comes out. And so far, the game has been pretty good for the most part. Some crashing here and there, but I've enjoyed the quality of the game so far. Obviously, it could be better, but so could everything else. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, I'm Blitz5, and peace out.
She's done.
UAV standing by.
Every shot.
Contesting zone B.
Oh, I'm sorry. I let him do that to us.
Hellstorm awaiting.
I mean, I let him do that to us as well. No, but like I was being awkward with my
Nomad's
gun
down.
when he grabbed himself. Like if I had a ability to aim down sight, I would have shot him. I was mid. I was.